Special worship was done in Udupi to get Madhavacharya, Madhya Bhatt, Nadiliya Madhya Bhatta, and Vedavati did lot of austerity to get a wonderful son who can give a right philosophy, who can refute wrong philosophies, as well as they had desire to have a son. Already they had lost two sons. Only daughter was there. That is why they wanted a son, as well as a son who can give a right philosophy. Madhya Bhatt is a wonderful preacher in the Puranas. On the day of Vijayadashami, Madhvacharya is born, and his father names him as Vasudeva. Va means come, or he has come to give Asu. Asu means the spiritual knowledge, and he is that Devata, Mukhya Prana. So, in this way, the real knowledge even came to Mudilaya, Mudilaya Brahmana by giving or by donating a cow to Nadilaya Brahmana. So, Nadilaya Bhatta, though he was well versed in spiritual knowledge, had a lot of spiritual wealth, but in the material wealth, he was very much less. So, he was really poverty stricken. That is why Mudilaya Brahmana, he was a very rich person. He gave cow to Nadilaya. Now, leave by offering to Hari. This is the topic for today. Leave by offering to Hari. Vasudeva entered the third month. Now, the child is 3 months old. Then, Nishkramana ceremony had to be done. That means the child is taken out of the house to the temple. That is a special rite of taking the child out of the home for the first time. Matyageha was a best wise man who knew virtues. The child was taken out of the home for the first time to Udupi. It was offered to the feet of Ananteshwar, whose mercy caused its birth. So they offered the child to Ananteshwara. Beholding those who obtain boons by throwing the waters of the lake into the lake, live by dedicating the wealth got by the grace of Hari to Hari. So now here the example is given. When you offer water to Surya Devata, what do? You take bath in the river, and with the same water, you offer to Surya Devata into the same water. The same way, wealth is given by Krishna. You use the same wealth for his service. Grace of Lord to Lord himself. But because of grace of Lord, one gets the wealth, and that is given to Krishna himself. In the same way, the child is given by Ananteshwara, and Madhya Bhatt and Vedavati offered the child at the feet of Ananteshwara. This is the moral taught by Madhva. Madhyageha would follow it even before hearing it from the mouth of Madhva, as he had the good fortune of obtaining Madhva as his son. So Madhvacharya is going to teach this, that whatever we get, that has to be offered to Krishna himself, and that is devotional service. In Navaprameyam, Madhvacharya is going to speak this. Like light spreading before sunrise, Madhva had spread the light of knowledge before teaching it. Now, how does Madhyageya but knows it? Because it is like sun giving the sunlight. In the same way, Madhvacharya, when he appeared, he already gave the knowledge. The gem of a sun offered by Madhyageha was a gem surpassing all priceless gems. This was the gem who was the preceptor of the world, showering gems of prameyas on the seekers. And above all, it was Mukhya Prana, the gem of a son of Bhagavan. So Madhyageya Bhatt is a gem. He is a teacher. And what is he teaching? Prameya. There is a Pramana, there is Prameya. Prameya means how to do the service on the seekers, Prameyas, on the seekers. And in this way, Mukhya Prana, he is the gem of a son of Bhagavan. He is the son of Lord. So next topic is the devil frightened. So it was the occasion of the festival of Sankramana, as Makara Sankranti. Makara Sankramana. On that day, after the completion of the special festivities of Ananteshwara, when they got ready to return to Pajaka, the first yama of night had already passed. Even during that darkness, Bhatt was eager to return home. On top of it was the motivation by God. Indeed, Bhatt walked along with his son and family. It was midnight, dense forest. Suddenly, one member of the group vomited blood and fell on the ground. Bhatt understood that it was the mischief of a ghost. But ghosts especially harass little children. They are named child teasers. But here, it did not happen like that. Very little child Vasudeva alone was safe. They deemed it as their good fortune. At the time, the ghost that had entered the person who vomited blood said, "What an adventure is yours! This is our abode. This is midnight, the time for us to sport. The life of those who venture here in this untimely hour will be in danger. It did not happen to you due to the power of this child. He is no ordinary person. He is a self same Lord of the world." Saying this, the ghost departed. They now understood this. It is not due to their good fortune that the child escaped, but all of them escaped due to the power of the child. It's just same like Vrajavasis. Vrajavasis, they used to think that Narayana is protecting our Krishna, but they don't know Krishna is the Shrot of all Narayana. Here also, they thought that they are protecting the child because of their good fortune, but it is in fact the child protected them, and the ghost spoke this. This was the greatness of baby Madhva. The place of this incident is in Shadari Kepadi near Udupi. By his mere presence, all of them escaped from that great danger. This is an illustration showing that if Madhva is kept in the home, in the form of an icon, or in the form of his works, then trouble by evil spirits would not arise. There's the power of Madhvacharya. That is why it is said, when the child is in the womb, one should read Madhvacharya book. In the Mahabharata also, there was a similar situation. Before the commencement of the Kurukshetra war, Duryodhana went to Acharya Drona and divulged his mental anguish. What a marvel in this army of Pandavas! It is well protected by the defense of Bhima. He told na, to Dronacharya, Bhima Rakshitam, Aparyaptam Tadasmakam, Balam Bhima, Balam Bhishma Virakshitam, Paryaptam Tadaveshetam, Balam Bhima Virakshitam, Paryaptam. What a defense Bhima has given. Our army is not like that. Bhishma is the commander in chief of it. He does not possess the power of Bhima. This is my worry. Duryodhana thought that the army of the Pandavas was well protected by the defense of Bhima. Paryaptam Tadameshesham Balam Bhima Virakshitam. It is Paryapta. Why Bhima is protecting? But Aparyaptam, it is not sufficient because our army is only protected by Bhishma. What happened here was the same. The episode here was that the family members of Madhyageha defended by Madhva was well protected. There Bhima protected Pandavas, here Madhva protected the family members of Madhyageha Bhatta. Because same Bhima appears as Shripad Madhvacharya. This was beheld by a ghost. There it was told by Duryodhana. He was a ghost of wealth. There it was Bhima, and here it was Madhva. That is, the devotees of Sri Madhva will not have the affliction of ghosts. The words of these two ghosts vouchsafe it. That is why either icon of Madhvacharya should be kept, or one should have the works of Madhvacharya. So either of one should be there. Then the ghosts will not attack, or evil spirit will not be there. No negative elements will be there. This is what you have to teach to your daughters or sons who are getting married. They should always worship Madhva when they have child in the womb. We are told this to our Jumur. She read the whole Madhvacharya work when Nainu was in the womb. Kulaguru divorced Pulita Kula. There was another episode. Mother Vedavati went out to help another person in household duties. Before leaving, she breastfed baby Madhva, entrusted him to a daughter, and alerted her. But no sooner than the mother had left, the child started crying. The no sooner the mother left, what happened? The child started crying. The nervousness of the girl could not be seen elsewhere. She left no stone unturned to stop the crying of the child. But the child went on crying intensely. It is easy to pacify one who is really crying, uh, but it is impossible to pacify one who pretends crying. So just see what is told. So it is said, one who pretends to cry, Rudam tam muhurnetram yugmam mrijantam karamboja yugmena santaka netram. Mushvasakampatrirekanga stitagreiva damodaram bhaktibaddham. Same thing is told in Damodarashtakam also. What is told? That Krishna is pretending to cry, keeping the hands on his lotus eyes and then rubbing the eyes. So this is a pretending. No, in this way, Krishna is pretending to cry. Here, Madhava is also pretending to cry. You see, the Leelas of Krishna and his devotees are so similar. Krishna is pretending to cry. So here, Madhava is also pretending to cry. So it is very difficult to pacify a child who pretends. The child was doing that only. That was why it was such a puzzle. With no solution in sight, she thought that the child was hungry. She searched the house for some edible to be given to it for eating. So the sister, the daughter, was searching what to give. It was the home of another Sudama. Finally, she saw some cooked ulita or hurri grains kept for feeding the cow. The cows are fed with these hurli grains. In some place, it is also said that chickpeas were kept, that to uncooked chickpeas were kept. In some place, it is said, but here it is clearly said it was a cooked hurli grains which was kept. She fed the child with that itself. Having devoured it, the child stopped crying. And just see, it was in tons actually. In the evening, perturbed by the thought of the child, the mother rushed home. The child would be crying in the child would be crying in hunger. With a great folly I have committed. I have forgotten my own work, my engaging in that of others. So mother is thinking, oh, I forgot feeding my child. I forgot about the child. So she rushes home. Surprise awaited her, who came home thinking like this. Oh, the child must be crying. But the child was calm without crying. It was obvious that his stomach was full. The reason for astonishment was the absence of the expected crying and the presence of the unexpected smile. When she learned the matter from her daughter, her astonishment mm, turned into pain. What would be the fate of the child that had consumed such a large quantity of the grain, which even youngsters could not digest? The small child, 3 month old child, 4 months old child, she's it was actually the child was actually 6 months old. Annaprasha is done during that time. So the child did his own Annaprasha. She scolded her daughter for that. What happened was due to her delay in returning home. For that, she rebuked herself. She was worried over what could happen to the child. For that, she started praying to God, knowing the matter. Madhyageha took the child and chanted the Dhanavantari mantra. Not only the members of the household, but the public of the village also joined in his prayers. The reasons for that was Vasudeva was not merely the child of his home, but he had become the child of the village. But himself did not trust those means meant for saving the child from great calamity. But what happened after that was a miracle. The child did not face any danger whatsoever. It was smiling as before, though they were unaware of the reason for that, they regained their lost happiness. So they were not trying to research why the child is so happy. They did not try to research out, but they were so happy, so contented that Their child is now protected. They were not aware that the child was Mukhya Prana, who digested Kalakuta. Kalakuta is poison. So Mukhya Prana had digested Kalakuta. Bhima was administered poison. But what happened? Bhima ate. Duryodhana had administered poison. Nothing happened. There is no power in the universe that could subject him to danger. When the food consumed by people gets digested by prana, apana, and others, what wonder was there that Mukhya Prana himself got it digested like that? See, we are consuming so many things, isn't it? Huh. We are actually consuming poison also in the name of non organic things. What is there in that? It is pest. It's all pest which is there in it. So many pesticides gets accumulated in our body. But still somehow we are able to live just because Mukhya Prana has the ability to digest. So in this way here it is said whatever food we are eating that is digested by the prana vayus. Sometimes we eat in the wrong time, even though it may be organic, but we are eating in the wrong time. Apachan happens, but still it's Mukhya Prana gets it digested. This resembles the episode of Nandagopa and others frightened by Putana incident, becoming happy later. By consuming the kernel, the child proclaimed that he was the incarnation of Mukhya Prana, denoted by the word Prabhanjana, which means one who has rooted the religions that are devoid of kernel. So, in this way, the child actually consumed the, the hurli or the kernel. So, in this way, though the child is small, but it could digest it. Now, the child is crawling. So, Annaprash has been done by itself. Now, crawling time. Crawling on hands and knees, lisping speech. Days roll. Vasudev began to crawl slowly with the hands and knees. He slowly began to stand up. He started to walk with faltering steps. All these were only pastime for him, an incarnation of Mukhya Prana, the activator of the world. On the other hand, it was to imitate the world. Meantime, he started faltering speech. He was Maruti, the Lord of Bharati, who bestows the power of speech on the beings of the world. In his presence, the speech of Vagdevi, is a faltering one. Even so, this pastime was to imitate the world. That faltering speech resembled the elegance of the gentle walk of Vagdevi, beheld by gods in the assembly of Brahma. This pastime of Mukhya Prana, who blesses the world with the ability to walk and speak, deluded the demons. So it is said the controller of speech is Mukhya Prana, but Vagdevi also falters when enters the Mukhya Prana. It's a gentle walk of Vagdevi. Now let us see the next, where the child is now able to walk. 1 year. 1 year, what happens? The child walks, tries to walk, tries to go in the fields. Now here also same thing happened. The divine child follows a bull. Generally, children play with dogs, or if they are taken to Goshala, they play with bachlas. Now, Vasudeva was just 1 year child. One day in the early morning itself, he followed the bull of the house to the forest. It was a daily routine for the bull to go out for grazing. It was an uncommon incident that Vasudeva to follow that bull on that day. Vasudeva followed the big bull, holding its tail. Just see how it was, how he followed. He held the tail. It's customary for children to catch hold of the tail of the cats. Huh. But catching hold of the tail of a bull was a style of Vasudeva. The parents became anxious. Vasudeva was not found anywhere in the house. Is it a fun? Is it a folly? Had the child, naughty child, fallen in a well, the houses in the neighborhood had already been searched. Lakes and wells were searched. The citizens of the village joined in that search. They had the feeling of having lost their life. There was no end to their sorrow. At that time, a person returning from the forest was sighted. Inquiring the reason of their sorrow, he said, I saw such a child moving about near the mountain, catching hold of the tail of a bull. What he said was related to Vasudev, but all of them did not bother to believe it. It was almost impossible to believe it. They said, his 1 year old child. It is a big bull. He is wandering in the forest, catching hold of its tail. It's a chain of impossibilities. The sun was already rising towards the west, along with the lotuses. Their lotus-like faces also started to fade. Now the night is going to start. Whole day they are searching. In the night time, the lotus closes. Now here their faces also started fading. Suddenly all of them felt sunrise. Why? Vasudeva catching hold of the tail of the bull that, that was returning home was the cynosure of their eyes. The words of the wayfarer came true. It was like a poor man getting chintamani. It was like obtaining real knowledge by an earnest seeker. That it became impossible to describe the excitement of those who saw Vasudeva. On a mountain southwest of Sri Pajaka Kshetra, the small footprints of Vasudeva and the footprint of a bull can be seen even today as a memorial to this episode. So, southwest mountain, we can see this. This pastime of Vasudeva is full of spirituality. Now, what it indicates? Small 1 year Vasudeva catching hold of bull. What, what he wants to show? Vasudeva denotes wisdom. Bull denotes virtue. Its tail denotes subtleness of virtue. By catching hold of the tail of bull, he proclaimed to the world that he is Vayudeva, the savior of virtue. So Vasudeva denotes wisdom. Wisdom should save virtues. Moral conducts, spiritual conducts, they are known as virtues. Wonderful qualities. Bull denotes dharma. Dharma is based on 4 principles, that is compassion, truthfulness, purity, and austerity. So these are the 4 important virtues which bull denotes. And through the wisdom, through the knowledge, we have to protect this virtue. So who teaches us? It is Madhva. He is Bhimsen who protected Dharmaraj. The essence of the Itihasas and Puranas is that Vayu alone, endowed with physical strength and the power of knowledge, is capable of protecting virtue. Dharma has to be protected. Dharma is not just Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Isai. Dharma means these 4 principles. Where these principles are there, understand, Dharma is there. Dharmastu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. Wherever Dharma is protected, Krishna is there. That is why one blows conch shell in the house. Blowing the conch shell means proclaiming to the whole world that Dharma is going to be protected. Wherever Dharma is protected, there Krishna lives. Thus, each pastime of Vasudeva was in the form of knowledge of reality that would be revealed by him in future. It was also indicated that in the future he would be teaching Indra, who was in the form of a bull, and turn it into Tika Kritapada. So this pastime also will be seen. And Indra comes in the form of a bull, and Madhva, while teaching the scholars, asked them to repeat. It was the bull who repeated. So this invoked enviousness in the heart of the scholars. They with their divine powers, made a snake bite the bull, and the bull dies. But Madhva brings him to life, that is by chanting Dwadasha Stotra. And in future, the same bull becomes Tika Kritapada. Tika Kritapada. He translates the work of Madhavacharya. So we can take one more, or we'll stop here and tomorrow we'll do. Because again, this pastime is a big pastime where depth discharge with tamarind seeds has been spoken. So today we saw how Madhavacharya was taken first time to Ananteshwara temple. Then in the Makara Sankarana, when they were returning back, the ghosts declared that this child has protected all of you. And then the child walks, uh, the child has started crawling, the child has started walking, the child has started speaking, the child follows the bull. Next Leela is also so wonderful. How the child clears the depth of the father. The child is not very big, small child, just 1.5, 2 years child, but clears the depth of his father. That we'll see. So we have 2 tickets for left for somebody suddenly wanted to drop out. So we have 2 tickets. If somebody wants to come for Udupi Parashuram Kshetra Yatra, can give me the name. A nice 2 tickets, which is confirmed tickets are there. Hare Krishna. So what we are studying, that we can see there also. So
हरे कृष्ण माता जी। माता जी, श्रीपाद मध्वाचार्य का यानी प्रणाम मंत्र हो तो प्लीज पोस्ट करिएगा ग्रुप पे, तो हम लर्न कर।
जैसे जैसे जाएंगे तब देखेंगे।
ओके
मैं
माता
भी
जी।
स्टेप बाय स्टेप जा रही हूँ, फिर भी मैं अभी पीछे देखती हूँ। मध्वाचार्य का तो वैसे प्रणाम मंत्र अब तक तो मैं संपर्क में नहीं आई हूँ, लेकिन है पीछे रहेगा प्रणाम मंत्र।
ओके माता जी। ओके।
प्रणाम मंत्र जो है उनके शिष्य लिखते हैं, जैसे इनके 8 शिष्य हैं, उन्होंने भी लिखा है। लेकिन मुझे लगता है कि बहुत सारे यहाँ है, एक दिया हुआ है आनंद तीर्थ पो सिंहो मायावादी तीर सुतान। लेकिन ये तो बहुत बड़ा है। उनका पूरा सुमत्व विजय ही उनके ऊपर ग्लोरिफिकेशन है, जो हम पढ़ रहे हैं ना, ये पूरा उनका होगा। लेट मी स्पीक टू।
माता जी, हम कीर्तन में थोड़ा वो एक श्लोक भी बोले तो बहुत अच्छा है ना, स्टार्टिंग में उनके बारे में।
लेट मी सर्च आउट। ठीक है,
ओके माता जी। हाँ हाँ।
हरे कृष्ण। यहाँ है एक छोटा सा दिया हुआ है, आनंद तीर्थ मुनिना ब्रह्म तर्कानुसारतः मानलक्षण मित्युक्तम प्रीत्यर्थम शांगर धन्वन्तः। 2-3 ऐसे दिए, तो इसमें से कौन सा मतलब ब्राह्मण बोलते हैं, मैं बात करूंगी एंड आई गेट बैक। जैसे यो नित्यम अच्युत पदाम भुज युग्म रुक्म व्यामोहतस्तदितरांजनाय मेने अस्मद गुरो भगवतो अस्य दयेक सिंधु रामानुजस्य चरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये। ये रामानुचार्य का प्रणाम मंत्र है। हर
यस
आचार्य
माता
का
जी,
एक प्रणाम
वैसा
मंत्र
ही।
है।
हाँ। यस माता जी।
Whether I have to speak to a Madhva Brahmana, Amarchan Prabhuji is also there, but I think I will have to speak to even Radha Krishna Bhatt and get it from Radha Krishna Bhatt, क्योंकि वो पूरे मध्व संप्रदाय को फॉलो करते हैं और मध्व संप्रदाय के वो एक आचार्य भी हैं, तो उनसे ही बात करके मैं प्रणाम मंत्र लूंगी। ठीक है, हरे कृष्ण। सो कल बहुलाष्टमी है, बहुत विशेष है। तो बहुलाष्टमी के दिन राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड का प्राकट्य हुआ है। कल का सेलिब्रेशन कांदिवली में है। प्राय हम देखते हैं भक्त लोग यहाँ थाना में आते हैं, कांदिवली से आते हैं, कल्याण से आते हैं, तो थाना के भक्तों को भी जाना चाहिए। कांदिवली के नज़दीक जो रहते हैं उन्हें सबको बुलाना चाहिए। सबसे महान दिन है बहुलाष्टमी का दिन। तो लोग तो राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड में जाके प्रदक्षिणा करते हैं, स्नान करते हैं, प्रदक्षिणा करते हैं। हम इतना दूर तो नहीं जा पाएंगे, लेकिन हम राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड को इन्वोक कर सकते हैं। वर्षिप राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड जहाँ कांदिवली में बनेगा, वहाँ उन्होंने बड़ा प्रोग्राम आयोजन किया है। तो डिवोटीज आर रिक्वेस्टेड टू कम। इफ यू आर नॉट एबल टू कम
माता जी
देयर,
प्लीज लाइव
प्लीज
होगा कल, लाइव।
देखते हैं। देखते
तो
हैं।
हम भी दर्शन कर सके।
And those are not able to come, at least go to Jagannath Devasthanam, light lamp over there. एंड इस प्रकार से प्रार्थना करिए भगवान को कि राधारानी हमें इतना कृपा प्राप्त दे, इतना कृपा दे कि हम कृष्ण की सेवा अच्छी तरह से कर सके। हरे कृष्ण। पंचाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः।